When it comes to spoilers, my thoughts on them have changed quite a lot since becoming a content creator. And to properly explain this, I first need to break down how I approach spoilers before I started making videos on YouTube. I used to actively seek out key information for any game or show that I might be experiencing, as if I was far away from the ending, I wanted to know right then and there what would happen by the end. I'm sure many are raising their eyebrows to this statement, but it always made sense for me. Knowing the outcome won't ruin the remaining experience I have left with this show or game, all it will do is let me know the final point. When I rewatch a show or replay a game, just because I know what will happen doesn't make it any less enjoyable, so why would getting the information early on my first time around lessen this experience? And upon your first experience with whatever series it is, unless you know each and every point of it, I can't see how anything can truly be ruined for you when all you really know was a few moments from the ending to maybe a character's fate. And I still have another 95 major moments I had no idea about. Now, a part of this stems from me being impatient and always wanting to know all the major points right away. When I first watched Game of Thrones, I was about halfway through season 1, and I was really curious how long my favorite character would be around, so I went to the wiki and went, oh boy, this show is gonna mess with me. But it never made the death any less impactful, quite the opposite. Seeing all the remaining episodes leading up to what I knew would be happening, each episode was even more enjoyable because I knew I only had so many episodes left before that death scene, so I appreciated the time I had left with them even more. I recognize I'm an outsider when it comes to spoilers, most want nothing to do with them, but more times than not, knowing the outcome of a product makes me more interested in seeing something through to the end. I mean, I only watched Breaking Bad because I knew how it ended. The premise of a high school chemistry teacher cooking meth to make money to leave for his family before he dies is an interesting setup, but knowing how it ends and where the characters ended up in that finale made me start watching it that very night. Because just knowing point A and point Z, it doesn't do much. You know a small fraction of the product. You still don't have all the other key important details to lead up to it. All you know is the intro and end points, and more than likely that will tell you if that sounds like something you'll enjoy. Knowing Geass R2's ending just shows you where it will go. Seeing the build up to that ending is what makes it so good. Seeing the entire season's perfect groundwork makes that ending spectacular, not just knowing how it ends. That's only a small fraction of its greatness. At least that's how I feel and more or less still do, but like I said, since becoming a content creator, my thought process has changed, at least for the series I know I'll be making videos for. The reason for this change can be summed down to as videos that I make, especially on a weekly format such as episodic reviews, lessens the quality for them if I already know the outcome. When it comes to my own personal enjoyment, I don't have to be interesting or make theories of what can happen. I'm off and can just enjoy the product without having to be on in front of a camera. But when I know the material beforehand, unless I'm doing a full review or a discussion piece, knowing what will happen or knowing big moments makes episodic videos weaker. It basically is just me talking about that episode's content, which yes, it can be enough, but more times than not, when I review episodically, I also try to see what information has been laid out and where that could lead into future episodes. Knowing where it will go removes this aspect, which can greatly enhance the content. It's a big part on why I don't seek out the source material for a show I know will return, because going in blind for videos, in my opinion at least, makes for a more interesting viewer experience, because you get a fresh take on a series you probably already know a lot about. Now the question you might have is, what's the point of this? Just to say how you approach spoilers. And really the idea for this video comes down to the number of comments I'll see in any given day, not just from my own content, but on the internet in general. That being someone, somewhere always yelling spoilers and trying to say someone ruined their experience. Now listen, there are a lot of people on this earth, too many to make a system that will make everyone happy, but I feel like we as a society have failed in the sense that people can't apply common sense to what should and should not be said to random people online when it comes to spoilers. Take a look at any website hosting entries for shows such as My Anime List. They'll usually have a decent sized paragraph breaking down what the show is about within maybe 1 or 2 episodes or so. The information laid out, if it's a more story driven series, will be in that paragraph. But we know how the internet works. They claim anything and everything is a spoiler. You told them the name of some brother? That's a spoiler. You told them what the story is about, which can be found in any synopsis? That's a spoiler. You said the name of the show? Yeah, that's a spoiler. It's basically the boy who cried wolf when it comes to internet culture and spoilers. The number of times a random commenter told me I spoiled something for them, which all I gave them is basic information which can be found in the intro episodes, is absolutely absurd. I've even had people claim I spoiled the episode I reviewed. They were upset that I spoiled an episode that I was reviewing. Why the hell are you watching an episode 7 review if you haven't seen episode 7? And sometimes they haven't even started the show, but they're watching reviews midway through the show. Everyone will obviously have a different opinion on what could and couldn't be considered a spoiler, but there are basic ways to go about spoilers on the internet that makes you a decent person and not a troll so bored in life that you need to get a reaction out of a stranger online. Now, my personal rule is this: if the information can be found at the intro stage to the series, not a spoiler, just basic setup information, and if knowing the first 30 minutes of something ruins the remaining hours of content for you, then stay off the internet. If it's a major spoiler, something that shifts the series in any way, that's a spoiler, warn for it. And anything else, just really be a decent person and label it properly as a spoiler. Obviously, once a new episode to any hot show airs, the official Twitter accounts, every fan account and their mother will be posting about the big moments of the episode, so add a filter to your social media and block out the name of the show until you catch up. People won't wait for you, so it's also up to you to do your part. But now when it comes to more closed off environments like videos about the show, just don't be a douchebag and tell people future information, because though I personally won't be bothered by it, other people will, and ruining someone else's experience benefits me and you in absolutely no way. The people who usually ask you how your day was at a store, more times than not, they don't care. They're just bored or trying to be friendly due to it being part of their job. A stranger's life impacts you usually in no way whatsoever. So I don't really see why people need to actively seek out negative reactions from spoiling a random stranger online because their life influences you in no way. And if you're really that bored with your own life, you probably should try changing it around. You could also use this logic as why should I go out of my way for strangers online by warning them about spoilers? And sure, but the amount of effort it takes to be a decent human being to add the word spoilers is so minuscule, you just look like a prick if you don't do it. My thoughts anyway. No one can agree what is and isn't a spoiler 100% of the time, but I personally feel like it's just common sense some things are, even if you personally wouldn't be bothered by them. Not everyone is you, and if you doubt it or if you think that maybe one person might consider this a major spoiler, just throw a warning just in case. Just because you know information ahead of time because you know the source material or you already completed it doesn't give you some right to try and shit on someone else. Obviously, trolls will be trolls and sites give us numerous ways to avoid them, but I see too many people who don't necessarily strike me as a people actively seeking out a negative reaction, but just don't see, for whatever reason, they are spoiling someone for no good reason. But it is also up to the people not wanting spoilers to take the necessary precautions by adding the series they aren't caught up on to a filter as to not see it, or learn how to skim read where you quickly skim through the comments and don't fully read what that comment has to say. So if you see a keyword like say Game of Thrones and you aren't caught up on it, maybe stop reading. The reason I started this video off by explaining my personal preference for spoilers is to show you I'm not here crying boo-hoo, I got spoiled. I personally enjoy them more times than not, but yes, I avoid them now when I'm making content on whatever it is. I try my best to filter out spoilers in my comments for other people. You spoil me, it's whatever. Very rarely am I thinking I have to be 100% blind to upcoming information, but the internet is like the boy who cried wolf. They cry spoilers too much. But it's not just the masses crying about spoilers who are the issue, it's also many commenters. Just be a decent person and label what obviously is a spoiler as a spoiler. It only takes common sense to figure this out. And then the other people who claim a synopsis is a spoiler can carry on being offended for no good reason. But let me know your thoughts on spoilers. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Whatever your thoughts on this topic, let me know down in that comment section below. And before you leave, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like as that helps as well. And if you want to go the extra mile to help support what I do for as little as $1 a month, then also consider heading on over to my Patreon. So until next time everyone, please take care and you all have a good one.